See, okay, so the story behind this is, look, um, how much was this? Um, a story about a guy who finds love in unexpected circumstances on a film set. This was released in 2023, and all the reviews are positive. So I think it's a really good game. And it says on Steam that this game was once $5, right? But it has a special promotion until July 24th. It's 90% off. That means it's 50 cents. It is 50 cents. So it says it features about 2 to 3 hours of content, a unique comedy story, a relaxing atmosphere, and a touch of personal drama. I mean, that's what more? I mean, what more could you actually ask for? You know what I mean? What more could you actually ask for? And for 50 cents for a story, let's get into this, shall we? So, preferences, text speed, sound value. After skip. Oh, let's not do any of that. Return. Start, I guess. My name is Ian, of course. Okay. Cut! Cut! The director's familiar shout marked the sudden end of the take. Judging by the tone of his voice, Harry, who was that, was unhappy about something again, which happened quite often. Harry was generally disliked on the set for being so annoying. Although, in my personal opinion, Harry was a good professional. I had a rough idea why he acted the way he did, and we were both essentially two sides of the same coin. Every time I heard those demanding, frustrated notes in Harry's voice, I remembered myself coming to my first studio a couple of years ago, a place I once never thought I'd find myself. In the past, I felt perpetually dissatisfied with the work process, which would probably sound ironic to many people. An adult film actor doesn't feel satisfied with his work. But my dissatisfaction at the time was directed not at the feeling of pleasure, but, on the contrary, at the filming process itself. As a professional adult actor, the first 6 months of filming were a real challenge to me. Oh. Something bothered me all the time. The light, the director's commands, the angle at which the cameraman chose to shoot us, the overall nonsense in the script. In general, I tried to improve everything, talked to the directors, persuaded them to make some minor changes to the script, and tried to, in every way, make it as perfect as possible. Now, of course, all this was just ridiculous to remember, and it's been a long time since I left that studio, and I signed a contract with a much bigger and more influential one. And I also abandoned my acting and directing ambitions since that. But from time to time, old acquaintances still reminded me of the old joking nickname they gave me, Mr. Film Critic. So I understood Harry. Like, why are you... it's porn! Why are you being a critic? So I understood Harry was a graduate. Dude, this... Hold on. What did I just do? I'm over here pressing buttons randomly. This is what I get. That's what I get. 100%. Hold on. This is 100% deserved. The game froze. Either the game froze or I just paused it and I don't know how to unpause it. Wait. I pressed a button and I can't. Oh, okay. What just happened? What's happening? What's happening?
Disabled.
Please, to get me out of here. Oh my goodness, what's happening? I could only reassure my colleagues that Harry would soon cool down and adjust to his new professional path. Klaus. Ian, where are you going? I was distracted from my memories and turned around. The assistant producer, Klaus, was trotting along the long corridor behind me. As he adjusted his glasses, which had slipped down his nose, Klaus stopped next to me and began to check his papers. I'm going to my dressing room. I have another shoot in an hour. Yeah, that's right. It's just that Rob wants you to meet the new girl. You're having a work day together today. Klaus checked his business. Wait, the new girl? I thought we were doing it with Jenny, didn't we? No, we sent Jenny to the second studio. She has a different schedule today. We'll put the new girl with you. Today is our first day at the studio. Rob wants you to get acquainted, show her everything around, and then we can start shooting. So are you free? We've got an hour. No problem. Where should I pick her up? The studio was quite large, and I didn't want the new girl to get lost and miss me on her first day. She's in Rob's office. Got that. With that, Klaus waved me off. So here's the thing, though. It's actually really fucking loud. Like, it's actually... Wait, hold on. Okay. It's got... It's preferences. It's just really loud. It's actually just really loud. With that, Klaus waved me off and went about his business. Somewhere down the corridor, I just shrugged to myself and went to Rob's office, which was 2 floors down. We had a good relationship with Rob, and from time to time, we even went out for a beer at a bar near the studio. I wouldn't call Rob my friend, but I consider him at least a good buddy to talk to and discuss the previous work week. In fact, I could call all my colleagues good buddies. There were, of course, those with whom I would never have a beer in my free time or even cross paths at all, but it was just a couple of people. I got along well with people. They sensed that and reached out to me in return. So if I had some free time, I could always find someone to chat with and spend an hour or two. I was usually the one who helped newcomers. Everyone else hated doing it. It was always challenging with newbies. They were nervous and asked a lot of questions, especially about salary, colleagues, directors, work schedule, lunch breaks. They were also often worried about if it was always their first experience in filming. And I, as their temporary mentor, had to calm them down and encourage them. Not that it was difficult for me. I remember how nervous I was doing my first few shoots, whatever. It's just a lot of yap! Okay, finally! This might be weird. When I walked into Rob's office, he was talking to the new girl. She was sitting with her back to me, and the first thing I saw was her short blonde hair and beautiful figure, narrow shoulders, wide hips, and thin waist. It wasn't an unusual appearance for an adult film actress, but I was impressed. Rob noticed me, smiled broadly, and waved. Ah, and there you are. Why'd the music change? I walked over to his desk and shook Rob's hand. Hi, so you must be the new girl. The girl turned to me, smiled back, and I almost immediately realized her face was vaguely familiar to me. Hi, Mila. Yes, you could say that. My name is Mila, nice to meet you. I shook her hand while thinking about her appearance. Now I knew exactly how I recognized her face. I had seen commercials with her a couple of times. As far as I knew, Mila was quite popular in certain genres, and she was clearly not a beginner. On the contrary, she could certainly be called a professional, which made me a little confused. Oh, Mila, nice to meet you. I'm Ian. I was about to offer my help to our newbie here, but since we have someone who's familiar with shooting process, guess there's nothing I can help with. Well, I'm gonna need some guidance anyway. This is my first time at your studio. Mila smiled at me beautifully. Yes, Mila is a professional, but she could use some of your help, Ian. You're shooting in an hour, so please show Mila where and how everything is set up, and then come to Soundstage 5 together with her. Oh, and you've read the script, right? I just nodded in response. Rob, come on, of course I read it. Do I look like somebody who doesn't read his script? Right, Rob! I'm methodical. Rob laughed and waved his hand. Yes, I know, I was just teasing you. Okay, off you go, Mila. If you have any questions, feel free to contact him. Yeah, just contact me. He knows everything and everyone here. Yeah, I do know everything. Mila rose from her chair and nodded understandingly. Thank you for the conversation, sir. I chuckled involuntarily when I heard Rob being called sir. I couldn't even remember the last time I called him that. I must have done it on my very first day at the studio. As I headed for the door, I jokingly saluted Rob and took the opportunity to tease him. Everything will be perfect. Have a good day, sir. Rob just sighed at my words and went back to his laptop. Because I'm the big boss around here. He can't say shit. Mila and I walked out into the long hallway, the music is still so loud. It's all up in my damn earlobes. It is good though, I'm not gonna lie. Mila and I walked out into the long hallway, which was now empty, except for some staff members walking back and forth from office to office. Dare I say, this might actually be better than Doki Doki Literature Club. That's kind of sad. So, Mila, huh? Let me guess. You've heard of me. Mila smiled briefly. I shrugged. Yes, I've heard something. They say you're a real professional. I've seen a couple of commercials for your films, and a guy I know is a big fan of yours. That's good to hear. I've heard a few things about you too, honestly. Only good things, I hope. Mila laughed. Well, not all good things. What? I mean, then it's a lie. Then it's a lie. I heard you clash with one of my director acquaintances early in his career. The words he used to say about you could hardly be called decent. I blushed involuntarily and laughed back. Oh, right. I was just thinking about that the other day. Who was that director? I don't remember much from that time anymore. His name's Chris, remember him? He was the one who criticized your acting methods the most. He called you Oscar nominee. I frowned. Why Oscar? Because with your acting skills and approach, you were clearly a contender for the Oscars. We both laughed in unison. Yes, I guess that's right. So I guess my shameful past was already revealed to you. Too bad I usually like to tell those stories myself. That's okay, we're going to shoot a whole movie and there'll be time for you to tell me something new. It's a shame I haven't heard anything like that about you. Now there won't even be anything to cover up. I hope that be considered a compliment to my impeccable work. Of course, it's always a pleasure to work with a professional. Okay, you need to have some frame, bro. Yeah, it's like you're on your knees at this point. We walked down the corridor and headed towards the elevator to get to the dressing rooms. So why did you decide to transfer to us? Is it a one-time contract or will you be joining our team permanently? You know, because sometimes head coaches and teams are in need of a player for only one game. So you call up somebody, you call up somebody, hey, we need you for one game. Okay, one game only, they go hoop out or they're an extreme liability. You never know, but a one game contract is never always for certain, right? Because if a nigga really does good on a one game contract, you gonna want to keep him. But it's for a one game contract, and if he does really bad, well, you're not gonna want to keep him, and then you just wasted your one. I mean, come on. Some people don't take the opportunity to ball out, and you know, it's just one game contracts are really risky. If it's not a secret, of course. Mila shrugged and briefly smiled. To be honest, I don't know yet. So far, I've only signed on for this film. I think I'll give it a try and see how it goes. I'm new to this, at least to what we're going to shoot today. I frowned, not fully understanding what Mila meant. New? What do you mean? It's not like we're doing anything out of the ordinary with this movie. Or did they send me another script? No, the script is the same. What I meant was that, well, this is the first time I'll be filming with a male co-star. Usually I've done either solo or female scenes, but today is my first experience with a male, so I'm a little nervous. After saying that, Mila smiled awkwardly, and which surprised me a little, blushed embarrassingly. It had been a long time since I had seen a fellow actress blush before a shoot. For all of us, what was going on in the studio was just work, and everyone knew that it was not good to be shy with each other. It would only disrupt the set, colleagues, and the crew. But Mila's embarrassment seemed sincere and sweet, so I could not take it with a pinch. Besides, she had a good reason to be embarrassed. Wow, I didn't know that. Me neither, bro. And why is it? Wow, why am I clicking buttons? And why is it? And why is that? If you don't mind me asking. Mila threw a quick look and then hurried to move her eyes away. I'll tell you about it later, okay? Well then keep your secrets then, bitch. Where are the dressing rooms here? The way Mila quickly changed the subject, blushing noticeably again, left me in a daze for a few seconds. But I quickly understood why she changed it. After all, it was up to her whether to tell me anything personal. We had only known each other for like a few minutes, like actually, and I wasn't gonna investigate her personal reasons. Like any normal person, I respected people's personal boundaries, especially those of my colleagues. We have separate men's and women's dressing rooms. You can find the women's one at the end of this hall. If you need anything, just let me know. Great, thank you. Are you the local mentor for all the new hires here? I shrugged and chuckled. You could say that. 99% of the time, I'm the one who shows and explains the stuff to the newbies. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I don't mind. I used to be a rookie myself, and I understand how tough it can be on the first day. Yes, I remember my first day vividly. I was so nervous, it's hard to believe. Yeah, me too. It's not easy to adjust to a new environment, leaving your comfort zone and all that. But here I am, no regrets. Oh, by the way, this is our makeup artist, Rachel. Hi, Rach. Rachel, who was walking briskly down the hall towards us, stopped and smiled. Where's Rachel? Where's Rachel? Can we see who Rachel is? Hi, Ian and Miss Mila, right? I've heard about you. Nice to meet you. Rachel extended her hand to Mila and shook hands with her. Hi, nice to meet you too. Rachel then turned to me. Ian, I was just looking for you. Where's the new girl you were supposed to help? That's her. Where's Rachel? Where are you? You still have to get everything ready. The shoot starts in half an hour. Actually, this is the new girl right here. I was just leading her to you. I pointed to Mila, who was standing right next to me. Mila smiled brightly as she saw the confusion on Rachel's face. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't expect you to be our new actress. I thought they were bringing in a completely new girl who didn't shoot before. It's usually a lot of work with them. It's okay. I understand. I also thought that I, as a complete novice, was going to mess things up for everyone here today. That's not true. Why is she putting away? Why is she? Now we're off to a bad start because why are you saying shit like that? I smiled impishly and waved her hand. Okay, great. So Rachel, I'm ready to get started. Where is Rachel? Great, then I'll take you away. And you should go to the dressing room too. Vince has already been looking for you. I nodded, checked my watch, and turned to Mila. Well, then I'll go. I'm entrusting you to Rachel's care. Who is Rachel? She's a real professional. You can trust her with your appearance. Yeah, speaking of appearance, where is Rachel? I'm sure she is. Then see you on set. Of course, I'll see you there. And it was nice to meet you. Mila answered me with a beautiful smile. Same. With that, she walked with Rachel toward the dressing room. I lingered for a while, watched her go, and then decided to get back to Vince before he got mad at me for doing. My first impression of Mila was very positive. She seemed like a nice, polite girl who was unlike to cause any problems on set. I couldn't help but wonder why she never filmed with men before. At first, I thought that Mila wasn't shooting with guys because of her orientation, and for some reason, it bothered me for a couple minutes. Although I couldn't explain why. Okay, like she being lesbian was gonna change anything. Usually I tried to treat my fellow actors as colleagues and nothing more. At most I was willing to be friends. With many of my colleagues I kept in touch after filming, sometimes attending their parties or inviting them to a bar for a chat. And in those relationships I didn't care at all about their orientation. It just didn't matter to me. Just as it didn't matter to me now why Mila had never acted with a guy. But in a way, it was nice that I would be her first male co-star in her rather long, by the standards of our industry, career. It wasn't surprising that I liked Mila. Even though we had only spoke briefly, she was very approachable, and I thought we would work very well together on set. Even Vince noticed the pensive look on my face as he picked out my clothes for the shoot and tidied up my appearance, which was fine as it was, but not as Harry wanted. Okay. Wow, time's passing. Okay. What's that mean? Well, your outfit doesn't even match. When I arrived at the set of Soundstage 5, which was made to look like a spacious apartment, Harry and Mila were already there waiting for me. To my surprise, Harry was being friendly with Mila, who was wearing an extremely seductive red silk robe. Mila was attractive, no doubt about it, and I could hardly call her my stepmother because Mila didn't look older than me. According to the script, I was her adult stepson with whom Mila had a bad relationship because of the undiscovered tension between the characters. And it was that tension that we had to perform. Oh, Ein, hello, you're already here. I didn't even notice. Mila turned. Why do I keep right clicking? Am I like what? Mila turned to me and waved. Harry nodded humbly, but everyone around me knew it was the ultimate gesture of friendliness for him. Well, are you ready to shoot? Yes, sir. Harry snorted. And I didn't know that you knew each other. We worked together a few times. Harry is a great professional. I'm sure it will work out. You can bet on it. There are only professionals on this set. But anyway, I hope I don't look like a complete amateur. No, you look like an actual university student. Nice shirt, by the way. I looked down at my t-shirt that said best son in the universe in pretty big letters. Why? Why am I Thanks, Vince did a pretty good... Fuck! Thanks, Vince did a great job picking out my image. Mila smiled, recognizing the sarcasm in my voice. Of course, Vince hadn't chosen anything from me. I didn't need a specific image for a scenario like this. Then again, male actors really spent much time preparing. Usually all the attention was given to the actress. Harry checked his watch and called out. Alright, that's it. Time to work. Mark, did you get the light? Yes, sir. Are the cameras ready? Of course, sir. Then what the hell are we waiting for? Quickly, everyone into position. Mila and I looked at each other as Harry stepped back and couldn't help but laugh. I feel like I'm in a Hollywood movie. I echoed her sarcastic remark. I'm sure we can count at least 5 Oscar nominations. What are you waiting for? Actors in position. Otherwise, we'll start shooting without you. Mila and I laughed. I could see that Mila was a little nervous, but she did her best not to show it. She walked to her position in the kitchen, clattering her heels on the What the fuck is a parquet? What is a parquet? Dude, I'm about to look this up. What is a parquet? Why would you need to add this detail to a damn game? Parquet can refer to decorative wood flooring. Just say the floor. Just say the floor. She walked to her position in the kitchen, clattering her heels on the parquet just say floor. And stood with her back to me, picking up a chopping board and a prop knife. I settled into my seat, and soon the whole set was engrossed in work. Camera, action, go. As soon as I heard the director's command, I instantly got into character, putting on the most indifferent and dismissive expression I could. Over the years in the industry, I learned to play the way the management demanded. No one expected me to act professionally, and I did just enough not to distract the viewer from the main content of the video. Although Rob had shared feedback on my work several times from the analytics team, statistically my videos were most often watched from the beginning and not skipped to the middle. For me, that was a real compliment, one I was proud of for a long time. I walked imposingly from the hallway into the living room, which was next to the kitchen where Mila was cooking dinner. Then I slumped into a chair, throwing my legs up on the coffee table, waiting for Mila to pay attention to me. You didn't do the dishes again, even though I asked you to. You were supposed to take out the trash, but you're sitting here playing Gotti. You were up in your fucking room playing Gotti. I asked you to wash the dishes, take out the trash. You need to get a job. What's your problem, honey? Do I always have to complain to your father? Mila's voice sounded almost genuinely indignant. She quickly got into character, turning to me and setting aside her knife. She gave me a disgruntled look, crossed her arms over her impressively sized chest, and arched an eyebrow. I shrugged my shoulders, indicating that I didn't care about her outrage as much as she did. Son. Now my name is Son. My name is Son now. I didn't have time. Besides, you're the housewife here, not me. You are the one who must do the dishes. Is that so? I want to remind you that I'm a housewife, not a housekeeper, and I'm certainly not your housekeeper. So if you're told to do the dishes, you must do them. Or do you want me to talk to your father so he can take away your birthday present? No! No, not my Nintendo Switch 3! Mila's cold voice impressed me. I had never seen her in action, but I knew now that Mila knew exactly what to do. Like me, she didn't go all Hollywood on me, but played just enough to keep the audience interested, as the director demanded. For a second, I even thought that we were really in some teenage TV series, but my character was an adult student who had moved into the same house with his father and his new wife. You won't do that. My father's gonna buy me that sports car anyway, whether you like it or not. Okay, that's so cliche. And your complaining won't change that, woman. Mila raised an eyebrow and looked down at me with a raised chin. Is that part of the script? Do you want to check it out? I pretended to get angry. What's your problem, Mom? Do you want me to do the dishes? Then help me down there, and maybe I'll think about it. Wait, what? A provocative grin appeared on my face. Mila snorted when she heard my words. According to the plot, my character had no idea that his stepmother would go for such a provocation, so he often tried to get her off his back like that. But to his surprise, Mila stepped forward and stood in front of me. How much time does it take to do something like that, though? Sometime later, Mila stood up and said, "Dishes are waiting for you, honey. I hope you haven't forgotten about our agreement." No. Mila hummed and turned around, tapping her heels on the floor! Tapping her heels on the floor! 'Cause that's all that is. Cut. Well done, guys. That was great. You can take a break now. I got up from the chair and pulled my pants back on, zipping up my fly. Okay. Mila turned around. She was still red with blush. Can I go to the shower? Yeah, sure. You are free for now. And by the way, you did a great job for your first time. If anything happens, I'll call you. Mark, turn off the lights. Harry turned away and started to command everyone else on the set. I didn't have time to exchange a few words with Mila as Rachel, I didn't have time to exchange a few words with Mila as Rachel, who appeared just a moment ago, took her to the dressing room. I was a little disappointed because I wanted to have a word with her about how great she was just giving me dome in the fucking set. But I hope we get another chance to talk tonight, so I headed to my dressing room where Vince was waiting for me. Are we going to get to see who that... Oh, more time is going to pass. Great game, by the way. As soon as I finished showering and came out of the dressing room, Mila appeared in front of me. She was already wearing her clothes with no traces of the previous shoot on her face. I smiled at her and waved, feeling an excitement that came from nowhere. Normally, I didn't worry about meeting with my colleagues after filming. After all, we were just doing our jobs. But now I found myself wondering if she enjoyed it. I wanted to ask her opinion on everything we did. Something about her was special. I wanted to get sure that she liked our shoot. Although it didn't really make any sense. Did it matter if we liked it or not? We, like everyone else on the set, we're just doing our jobs. Hi. How are you gonna get emotionally attached to somebody that's gonna be fucking everybody? Come on, bro. Hi again. Mila smiled at me and waved. Hi, I wanted to ask you, are we free for today? Yes, I think we are free for now. Seems like Harry liked everything since he hasn't said a word about our performance and didn't ask for another take. Then why don't we talk a little more while walking home together? I was just about to open my mouth to agree with her plan. I definitely wanted to have a chat with her, but Mila, apparently realizing what she said, had immediately rushed to explain. I mean, you go to your house and I go to mine, and if we go in the same direction, we can talk a little during that. Shit, I'm not making any sense, don't mind me. Well, if you want to fuck again, bro, just throw me a little hint, bro. I'm sorry, I'm just a little nervous about my first performance here, you know. No problem, we can go for a walk if we live in the same direction. Bro, it's fuck that if we live in the same direction. Fuck that, bro. Take her back home, bro. And you shouldn't be nervous, it all worked out fine. I also wanted to compliment her appearance, but I decided not to do this. I didn't want to embarrass her. Besides, I didn't know how appropriate that compliment would be right now. So I simply waved my hand toward the corridor, suggesting her to go first. Mila nodded and we both headed to the exit. How far do you live? I purposely rented an apartment nearby for a week when I decided to work here. I didn't want to drive across town, you know. Yeah, I live a couple streets away too, so which direction? To the left of the studio exit, literally 20 minutes away. Oh great, I also live in that direction. So we can go together then since we live in the same direction. Wow, how convenient for the plot of the story. If you didn't change your mind, of course. But even if she lived in the other direction, I'd still walk with her before going to my place. Yeah, you would. Of course I don't mind, I was the one who suggested this. Besides, I'm not very familiar with the area. It's hard for me to get orientated in new places, so I didn't explore this part of the city yet. Don't worry, there's not much place to get lost here. It's mostly just office buildings and a few malls. There's also a great coffee. Why? Ooh, I just smashed my Roku remote on accident. I hope it's not broken. It's definitely not broken because it's made out of titanium steel. There's also a great coffee shop just south of the street. I can show you that place later if you want. Yeah. That passive shit, like if you want, blah blah. If you want, we can go here. If you want, I think, blah 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 blah. No, you gotta be assertive. Cool, that would be really nice of you, but I don't want to take up your time. If no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Boom, assertiveness. I suggested it myself, so of course I have some time for that. Boom, assertiveness. Boom, let's go here. Boom, fuck again. Boom, boom, boom. You gotta make these plans, bro. You gotta go from point A to point B. No, there's no A and then see what's happening at C and D and E and F. No, A, B. Mila smiled appreciatively and we left the building. I held the heavy glass doors open for her, letting her through, and I said goodbye to Alice, the girl working at the reception. Why are there so many, bro? Come on, dude. Why are there so many women like Alice and Rachel like that? They're not. You don't see them. Once outside, we were in the middle of a busy street with cars driving back and forth, and people rushing by on the sidewalk. How long have you worked at this studio? We walked up the street heading north. Soon the street lights would be on. Around 3 years. I myself came here from another studio where everybody was happy about me leaving. Well, you heard the story about the beginning of my career. Mila laughed and her cheeks turned adorably red. Yes, of course, you can't forget something like that. And how do you like it here? I'm told it's a great place and the workers are kind. Yeah, it's cool here. I know everyone and I get along well with almost everyone. Rob and I go out for beers sometimes. He's a cool dude even though he seems like a pain in the ass at first glance. You'll soon make friends with him. There's also Rachel and Vince, our makeup artists. They're great guys too. Is Rachel a guy? They were married a couple years ago, but then they got divorced and kind of broke up as friends. They're fun to be with at corporate events. Me and Rob always make a bet about their interactions. They either bring their romance back for a night or start a fight. You guys have corporate events here? Sounds really fun. Yeah, we have them on general holidays like New Year's Eve. Well, also at the end of the season when the ratings are tallied, which usually happens in the spring. But just a bunch of yap, bro. Just take your top off. Just take the top off. Last time Rob ordered a truckload of pizza and even more champagne. He even ordered more champagne. We spent a week eating and drinking it all. He seems like a generous guy. Sort of. He never spared money for parties. Why did you decide to join us? If it's no secret, of course. I didn't want to try to pry into Mila's personal life. The last time she had clearly avoided answering. Now I thought she would just brush it off and say she didn't want to talk about it, leaving me guessing. But no, she just shrugged. I don't know, I wanted a change in my life, so I felt like doing sex work in the industry. What a fucking terrible woman. Piece of shit skeezer. I felt like I was going nowhere with my career, and this is a dead end. This is a dead end, whether you want to believe it or not. Working so much time in the same place with the same people, it just gets boring. So you just decided to change something in your life. Why didn't you move to another city then? I don't know, to be honest. I'm not very mobile as a person. Although when I was a kid, I dreamed of traveling and seeing the world. It was my idea until I was about 15, I guess. I too have always dreamed of traveling. I used to have hoop dreams until I found out that there were other ways to school. After graduating school, I went on a little trip in our favorite rocket ship, zooming through the skies, Little Einstein, with a friend in his van. What the fuck? Oh, okay, it's not weird, okay. After graduating school, I went on a little trip with a friend in his van. It was very cool. Really? Where did you go? We went to a lot of places around the country, spent the whole summer before college traveling. At one of the high school parties, my friend Max got drunk and started telling us about his first kiss near a waterfall. He told us passionately about his middle school where he kissed his crush during a camping trip. So we decided to find that waterfall after the exams. What kind of waterfall was that? I don't even remember its name anymore, to be honest, but I remember that Max described it as the eighth wonder of the world, that it was the most beautiful place on the planet. In the end, when we got there, not only was the observation deck long ago destroyed, but the waterfall itself looked more like a flow from a broken faucet. A disappointment, in short. So we decided that since we had already left town, it would be foolish to go back with nothing. So we got in the van and went on our way. Mila listened to my story with her eyes wide open. Damn, that sounds like my dream. How long have you been traveling? How much places did you visit? Actually, we didn't have time to see much. We quickly ran out of money and had to earn it on the road. Max liked to play his guitar, so we stopped in towns along the way and had many concerts there. Max played and I sang, trying to entertain the crowd in any way I could. The whole performance was pretty mediocre, but there was still some kind-hearted people who gave us enough money. As you can imagine, we didn't last that long, so we ended up going home. But we were on the trip for almost a month. I wanted to go on a trip like this when I was in high school. I tried to convince my parents to buy an RV and go wherever they wanted, but my parents didn't really like the idea. They've always been very, tied to one place. Work, home, barbecue once a month in the backyard of the house if the weather was nice, and road trip life didn't appeal to them. And you've never traveled anywhere since? Mila shrugged sadly. The only time I traveled somewhere was the time I moved to this city. Don't get me all sentimental and because now I want to pop through the screen and take you somewhere. A whole new world. Sekai type shit, bro. The only time I traveled somewhere was the time I moved to this city. Maybe I missed some dialogue, I don't know. My parents were against it, but I still insisted to study here. And what did you study for? Mila grinned and gave me a sly look. Try to guess it. I guess you went to acting school too. Mila nodded and asked me back. Is it that obvious? You played way too good for an adult film actress, so it was easy to guess. Wait, you said 2? So you're an actor as well? Yeah, I went to college and took a bunch of courses. I dreamed to become a famous Hollywood star, but as you can see, it didn't work out so well for me. I smiled at Mila, although it was a little sad to remember my former ambitions. No, I had no regrets or guilt about taking a completely different path, but still, remembering my high expectations for life now made me laugh rather than cheer. There was a time when all I did was fantasize about my future career, which I thought couldn't help be brilliant. I did everything I could to get on a good project, or at least an average project, so that at least someone would notice me. But in the end, I ended up where I was. It wasn't that I thought my life was a failure or that my work was shameful. And if it had been, I'd never become an adult film actor. But it was sometimes strange to think of myself as one. I also dreamed of becoming an actress. Also dreamed of being famous. After high school, I saved up some money, moved here, and went to college. And even though my professors said I had good talent, I didn't end up having a Hollywood career. Let me guess, your parents weren't thrilled with your choice of major either. Mila waved her hand. Yep. They were terrified when I told them I was going to drama school. My mother worked as an accountant all her life, and my father worked in an auto shop. So they thought I needed a profession that was more practical and real and accessible. Acting is not even a profession, it's just nonsense. I didn't think so, of course. In every conversation we had ended up fighting. They didn't want to help me move here or support my choice, all because I'm ruining my life. Anyway, in the end, I just gave up on trying to change their mind and started working towards my dream. I packed my parents after graduation and came here. I got a job right away, got an excellent education, and then rented a small apartment with my classmates. In short, I fully immersed myself in adult life. You know, I had the same story. My parents helped me, but they were also disappointed that I had chosen such a frivolous profession. At least they didn't try to talk me out of it, because I'm a man and they don't give a shit about me. But I didn't get my dream career either. I worked with several agencies and looked for roles, but I only got a few extra roles in not very popular soap operas. I gave up that business and decided to try something else, and I don't regret it. Yes, it feels like every other person in our business started out that way. I too eventually became disillusioned with my career choice and decided that I had nothing to lose. So here I am now. Mila sounded as if she regretted going into the industry. She didn't seem ashamed of it, but at the same time she thought she could have chosen something better. She probably really could have, and now she was sad to think about it, but I didn't ask or elaborate. We reached the intersection and both stopped at the same time. After a few seconds, Mila understood that we both had to go in different directions, so she asked, "Which direction are you going now?" I'm live over there. Wow. I am live over there to the right and straight ahead. My partner is in that tall building. And I have to go left, then bye, I guess. I rubbed my neck. Yeah, I guess so. Well, it was nice meeting you. We had a great time, actually. M- Mila smiled embarrassedly. Yes, I enjoyed chatting with you too, and it's nice to meet you too. Well, Dude, I don't know why I keep doing that. Will I see you at work tomorrow? I nodded. Sure. We have more filming tomorrow, so can we like have lunch together? If you want, of course. Stop saying if you want. Just say, dude, just say we have to film tomorrow. I'm thinking about getting lunch. That's it. That's it. I'm thinking about getting lunch. That's it. You don't invite her, bro. She invites herself. If she wants to go, she will go. I didn't understand why I was so hesitant to suggest to Mila that we have lunch together. Because you're a fucking beta. Normally, I never have any trouble inviting my colleagues to spend their lunch hour together at a cafe. But now, for some reason, the words were self-conscious. Like I was back in high school calling a girl I liked to prom. Wow. It wasn't that far from the truth, though. Yeah, I just read you like a book, bro. You're just nervous. You got butterflies in your stomach because you never seen a fucking furry before. Niggas can't get a grip, man. I really liked Mila, and for some reason it was important to me that she wanted to spend time with me too. Mila, hearing the uncertainty in my voice, smiled broadly as if she wanted to remove that uncertainty. Sure, no problem. Will you show me that place you were talking about? Of course, they have the best sandwiches in town. Then I'll take you up on that. With that, Mila smiled at me again, waved, and went on her way. I staggered a little more and looked after her, then turned around and went on my way. Okay. Dude, we might have to end this here, bro. Cause this guy thought there was gonna be fucking and sucking and ass and all types of stuff on my screen, bro. But that's not the case. And the game's frozen. GG. Absolutely GG. Good game. Good runs. The game's. How? We're done here. We're so done here. It's not letting me leave. I'm being hostaged. OBS is not responding either. I'm being hostaged. Are you? Are you? Well, I guess we just gotta wait.